Hopefully we don't have...
All
There
right.
we go. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody, depending on where you're from and what time you're watching this. Welcome to the MinecraftEdu After Chat, and I have to do one quick thing here, which is mute that on my other screen because I'm hearing it in both ears. So I want to welcome you guys. This was a very, very special chat. If you're not familiar with this is the first time that you're seeing this. This actually attaches to the hashtag MinecraftEdu Twitter chat that we hold every single week on Tuesdays to talk about Minecraft and education. It's such a powerful tool. We all know it. We have a beautiful community surrounding it. But today we are very, very excited because this was the launch of Minecraft Education Edition from Microsoft. And I know they have been working extremely hard to put in the types of functionality that will get this thing perfect for classrooms around the world. And we are joined here today by Neal Manegold, who is the senior manager over at Playcraft Learn at Minecraft and Education. I'm going to give him a chance to introduce himself. Of course, my name is Garrett Zimmer. I am the co-founder of MinecraftEdu Chat. And I also have my co-founder, Mark Grundell, who is going to introduce himself very briefly, and then we'll give Neal a chance to bring himself up to speed.
So, yep, Mark Rundell. I'm the other co-founder of Minecraft Ed, and I'm a teacher of 5th grade. I've been doing that for 12 years now and teaching with Minecraft for the past 2. And what an exciting day. I'm super excited about the launch of Education Edition. So, Neal, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Sure. I'm Neal Manegold. I am the senior manager for Minecraft Education. I focus on content and curriculum. I hope my audio is good. It's kind of draping here off to the side. Between that and the lighting, I look like Inspector Gadget, where he's always not even facing everybody.
It's Halloween, Neal.
I know, seriously. So yeah, and prior to this, I taught for 11 years in grades 4 to 6 and did a whole bunch of other stuff on top of that. So super excited to end day one right after our launch with you guys and get some questions answered.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, we're really excited. We had a wide variety of questions, and we're going to cover quite a few of them, but we want to keep this as brief as possible because, as we said, Neal has had a long day. It's been the launch of Minecraft Education Edition. He does have family that he wants to get back to. So please make sure that you do check out in the description. There is a link to the archive of tonight's Twitter chat where you will find every resource and every single comment on there. And it's by our learning partners at Participate Learn. So make sure you go check that out. If we do miss anything. So let's get started. Let's rock on question number 1, and we want to cover this really briefly. So there's obviously going to be challenges for some individuals getting to use Minecraft Education Edition. And we asked the question, what are those challenges and how do we overcome them? So Neal, was there anything that stood out to you in terms of the audience comments as a particular challenge that people were having, and maybe a solution that you guys in the Playcraft Learn team or yourself have thought of to kind of support that challenge in implementing the use?
Yeah, I think for me personally, in my own history and just being out there and talking to teachers every day, I think cost is a big hurdle for folks. Whenever Minecraft, as amazing as it is, it's adding additional money that is already cash-strapped districts are looking to spend. I worked in a district where we cut back on things for 5 years. We didn't exactly add to anything like that. So charging for software and basically taking, there we go. Now it's randomly bright. Thanks. Charging for software when it needs to take money from something else in a budget is tough. The way that I work around that and work with schools and districts that we partner with is we talk about all the different examples and values that Minecraft can bring, whether I talk a lot about Redstone and having a circuitry set available digitally. I talk a lot about having math manipulatives in the game, using it for storytelling, using it for video production and things like that. And I also talk about starting off small. Very few pieces of software, very few games are ever successful with entire schools, entire districts purchasing them without any support for the teachers. So yeah. I tend to talk a lot about, try it with a grade level, try it with 2 classrooms, and let it build from there. And when we do training and workshops, we do the same thing. We tell teachers, find one colleague so you're not on your own, and maybe you and that colleague decide that you're going to go in and all in on this for a year, and then see where it goes from there, and let it build naturally. I think Minecraft has already done that in education for years, so I'm just hoping that that continues.
All right. What are your thoughts, Mark? What were some of the challenges that you saw out there? And we've had these conversations multiple times. So,
yeah, I think that was iterated a lot about cost and just technology, and I guess some areas haven't adopted Office 365 yet, even if they have Windows 10 computers. I saw Benjamin tweeted that out. But just hearing what Neal said, it sounds like you can run Minecraft for less than $1 a subject.
Yeah, right. Well,
when you think about it that way.
It definitely depends on how you're framing it, right? Like,
but in all seriousness, I think when I'm working with my kids, and even before Education Edition came out, I would encourage the kids to get Pocket Edition. And I said there's no better purchase, for $7 than Pocket Edition. It'll be the best $7 you ever spend. And I see so much learning that with Pocket Edition. So I'm really excited to start implementing Education Edition. I got my first Windows 10 PC the other day. Super excited. Looking forward to getting a few more.
So I've got a little bit of advice for everybody, and this is not my advice. This is coming from a lot of educators who have been doing this for many years. When MinecraftEdu originally came out, again, it was the exact same old argument: is it's costly, there's not a cost, and until that model had been proven that this is adding value, and I think that's the most appropriate way that you're approaching it, Neal. Not that my opinion really makes a difference in that, but providing that value that's when districts will say, okay, you know what, this is worth it. That's when the money will come in. But it's not just about providing the value to the administrators. And we talked about this before. If you can get parents on board and you can get parent-teacher associations on board, there are vast pools of funding available for education in the days that we're looking at. Everybody is looking to broaden their children's education. And looking at it from that perspective, to even start with and then be able to develop the fuel, not the fuel, but the ammo, the fire that you need to send to the administrators and say, look, this is working. We've got this. We have the support from the parents. We have the support from the teachers. It is working. It's a great place to start. And Neal, I'm going to ask you a direct question here. So correct me if I'm wrong. There was a question that came up very early, much before the Twitter chat, about the pricing level of $5. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the base price. As a district, when you're looking at a larger scale of licenses, that price can dramatically decrease. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I mean, we aren't able to quote the volume licensing prices because it depends on the size of the school and the district, which I know is frustrating. The way I phrase it to teachers when we do workshops and things like that, and Mark and I were at one, a while back, is I say, if you have 25 students and you're looking at it for one classroom, you're looking at 25 students and a teacher, you're looking at coming up with $130 for your classroom. If you're looking at a school or a district, the price is going to drop from there depending on volume licensing. But I also refer people to our folks that work on sales and that work with resellers because that's really their job. I view my role as more the first part of your answer, which was talking more about here's the value of this. It depends how you frame it, right? Like if folks are used to things that are free, $5 per user per year is expensive. But I also, the district my own kids go to, we're a normal little suburban area outside Seattle. The district pays $25 a seat for some of the stuff they use as software. And that seems totally normal because those things have proven value throughout the district. So they've committed hundreds of thousands of dollars to that. So I think it's exactly right to say it all is the way that you frame it and where you're coming from. But money is a hurdle, and I know it's easier to get grant money and things like that than it is to get money year after year. And so that's why I think starting small and letting it kind of grow from there is a good strategy for folks to start off with.
Absolutely. And sorry, Mark, I'll let you go in a second. I want to reiterate that point, that it's a matter of the value. With a lot of these free apps that are out there, the value is very one-sided. It's very, single-sided, single-focused, one subject, one curriculum. With Minecraft, it's broadened over the scope of multiple curriculum paths. So I think that's where it does have the value, and it's certainly worth it. Mark, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and just to back up what Neal said, I think that one of the biggest hurdles, and this is something that we've discussed in the past, is the mindset that, getting beyond the game and saying, Minecraft is so much more than a game. It really is a vehicle for engagement and learning. It's such a powerful tool. And once the general mindset tips that we can use this as a powerful learning tool in pretty much any age level, any subject, the money will be there. Because just like what Neal said, in my own district, we're spending a lot of money on, personalized learning tools and websites and apps for mathematics, for literacy. So the money is there. And I know that these programs cost way over $5 a program. So I think a lot of it is just mindset, because, Neal showed me some great Windows 10 PCs that are as cheap, sometimes cheaper than Chromebooks. And, as Chromebooks get older and older, schools have had them 3-4 years. They're going to need to replace them. Why replace them with a Chromebook when you can replace them with a cheap Windows 10 PC and have this app ready? So I think a lot of it is getting that mindset beyond, oh, it's okay to pay for this type of app, but not this app because it's a game.
Yeah. So moving on to question 2, and tying really directly with what we were talking about, which is the value and the support. And I think the support is really one of the biggest factors that can help to overcome what we see in game-based learning environments, which is the stigma behind games, that games are only supposed to be used for fun, or that this is just a game that's being put into classroom because it's a buzzword or it's a novelty. So I think a lot of the support is going to come in training. And one of the challenges, of course, was technical implementation. So Neal, from your perspective, what about the support, the training, and the technical implementation side of Minecraft? What is Playcraft Learn doing to really help support that environment?
Yeah, so I think it's almost 2 questions in one. So the part I'll stay away from, we can talk about the technical side first, is the teaching and learning side and the intimidation and the I don't know. I could install it all day, but I don't know how to play this game, and it's scary to me because my kids are experts and so on and so forth. As I know, we'll talk about that in a minute. On the technical side, we've spent some time publishing some articles, and I'll give you guys the links after this to send out to the community. It has, to be frank, it's not been easy. We have a bunch of teams at Microsoft that are all working really hard together to be first out of the gate. Minecraft is first out of the gate in game-based learning for us as a product. It's very different than a lot of the other things Microsoft offers, which I think is very cool. We're using Windows Store for Business, which is going to, in the long run, be much easier for folks, but is also new and different. And it's distribution through Windows 10, which is, again, new and different for folks. I was used to, Garrett, like you had said, I'm used to Windows 7, until very recently, until the last year or so. And distributing at scale across a district, as a former person working in IT, I know my way, and that's my way, and I really have no desire to change. And so we've done some articles which will help somewhat with that. But I think also we're at the tip of the spear, I guess, since I tend to like using similes and metaphors a little too much when it comes to that. So it's fun to be there, but we have support channels in place. Folks that have used our support channel through the site, we have right now about 1 business day turnaround at most. We also have a support team from Windows Store for Business that's been helping us, and we have a support team from Office 365 Education. So we actually have 3 teams of support folks who have all committed resources to making sure that people are supported in the community. So I think oftentimes people think of Microsoft and they think of, okay, it's this ginormous, see, I said it again, ginormous, how many times have I do this in one day? Gigantic organization, right? We're not listening, we're not real people, there's no face here, but there's a team. My teammate Noah is our leading person right now on support. My other teammate Daniel has been spearheading how we strategize support moving forward. They're real people that do this day in and day out, just so people can get this into their schools and districts. So I think the support's there. I would encourage anybody in the community, if they feel like they're not being supported, they can reach out to me directly. I mean, even you guys both have my email address. They can have that as well. I think we're not a large team, and we'd like to make sure that the best way for us to grow this thing is to make sure that people fall in love with Minecraft more every day after they take the risk and get started. So.
Awesome point. So, Mark, that brings us to the sort of second part of that. What about support in training? Where do we turn for that?
Um,
What do you
I
see
mean,
come up in the
you
chat?
know, I just think that Microsoft really has done a great job of providing training for educators. There's just so much out there. I saw so much. Our chat came up, and I was very honored to see that our chat came up, and just the MinecraftEdu hashtag in general. I mean, I recommend just if you use TweetDeck, post it up there and just follow it all week. Or if you're just using the regular Twitter app, just check in once in a while on the Minecraft EDU hashtag. Everyone is just sharing such wonderful resources. If you haven't visited education.minecraft.net yet, I'm going to say go there, join the community, and participate. There's some great discussions happening right now. And I think a lot of relevant discussions, especially as this evolution, as it continues to evolve. We're having some great conversations emerge, and I think everyone's sort of in the same place right now. So hop in on the community, create your profile, get started, have some chats. The other way that I've been learning about Education Edition is just by visiting conferences and unconferences like ed camps. Just start a conversation. So that's sort of what I saw out there.
Absolutely. I'll tie it right back to the education.minecraft.net as well, because this again goes back into what we were talking about from question one, which is what are the challenges. And one of the challenges that we've seen over and over and over again is being able to jump into a classroom environment and not have to worry about finding a new way to teach your lessons, B, trying to learn a new game at the same time, and C, coming up with your own lesson plan. And that's one place I'll encourage everybody to go to is this education.minecraft.net. Sign yourself up as a community member and start posting lesson plans. This is something that the Microsoft team I know has put into place and is heavily encouraging. And I think it's going to be the best move out there when you can go there and you can find a lesson plan that's broken down and detailed on how do you just jump right into the world with the students. Anything to say on that side of things, Neal?
No, other than it's 90% of my job. No, I think we're really excited about the site. I know it's been a lot of effort just to get it launched, right? So we're pretty nervous about making sure that things are just working properly. I think we view our team's role as like any community site, right? We'll do a lot of the content early on, and we're hoping to do very little of it moving forward and let the community just kind of take over. And so where I focus is, can we have features and functionality that are helpful to you all as educators? And so one of them that I'm really excited about that we got pushed in right near the end is we hear a lot that I have a lesson plan and Mark has a lesson plan, but we teach different grade levels. And we both want to do similar things, but he wants to tweak it a little bit and doesn't want to offend me as the lesson creator. As teachers, we're really sensitive about our product and we're professionals. And so we added this functionality to rework a lesson plan where he can take my lesson plan. He can tweak it for, let's say, middle school or high school if I teach elementary. And when it gets republished as Mark's lesson, but it still gives credit to me as the original creator. And so I think that's really nice to be able to just be authentic to the community and say, we can take a lesson idea and spin it in 10 or 15 different ways, but let's also give credit to the folks that spend hours on world building and hours on lesson building. It's hard with Minecraft, right? Because the correct answer to the question of what do I teach with this is what are you teaching next week? But that's very intimidating somebody new out of the gate. So our hope is to provide some materials to give folks, their first few months and to get them started. And then hopefully they make connections in the community and they start to do some of the creating themselves as well. And we just want to provide the vehicle for that sharing and take a step back and let the community take it from there. Microsoft is very heavily invested in educator communities, as both of you know. And we do not want to be very heavily invested in content creation. We want the experts and the professionals to be doing that because that's what you guys do day in and day out. So I'm happy with where we launched, and we're going to see where it goes over the next few months.
All right. Beautiful. So let's move quickly on to another question, and then we'll probably start wrapping this up fairly quickly. But I want to talk a little bit about apps and resources because that is one thing. that really has an opportunity to kind of explode the growth and explode the visibility of the true learning potential. So is there anything that stood out to you, Mark? And then we'll pass it on to Neal about different resources that can be used to help demonstrate student mastery of learning.
Well, one, and this kind of ties in with question 6, but was the ability to, incorporate OneDrive and Office Mix and being able to then export directly to Office Mix and OneDrive. I thought that was a pretty cool idea and something that, maybe the team is looking into. I also have been using the education community, having a conversation with Glenn Irv Spanish about NPCs and just incorporating Twine threads. Twine is a text-based choose your own adventure website that I thought would tie in very nicely with the NPCs. So you can integrate a text-based quest into your Minecraft adventure, and based on your choices within this text-based quest, you can go to various NPCs. I thought that would be a neat tie-in. So that's something that Glenn and I are exploring right now.
Awesome. Neal, how about yourself? Anything stand out? And maybe is there anything in the mix that you're looking at integrating really well?
Yeah, let's see. My microphone knows to mute depending on when I overshare too much. I think we're definitely looking at integrations moving forward. The way I answer, because folks, this is interesting. Nobody asked the mod question tonight, and I don't know if people are just not over it, right? But they've heard the answer enough times, and it's I think the way that our team answers the question about mods right now, and it may be different in 6 to 12 months, is what we did with NPCs was, on one side of the community, we have the experts and the folks that have been very diehard with Minecraft, which is lovely. But not everybody wants to download mods, and there are some schools and districts that worry about the code being written by God knows who. And some of us know these people personally, so we're like, oh, well, I trust this guy, or I trust this woman. She's the one that wrote the code for this, so we're good. But what we did with NPCs was we tried to take the best out of the custom NPCs, the stuff that was the must-have out of the gate, and put that in a feature in the game and see what's needed from there. And from our opinion as a team, what's risen to the top is what's really necessary is once we have command blocks, the NPCs need to execute commands. So I walk up to an NPC and it gives me XP, right? Or it gives me an item and it lets me continue on that quest. And I think that's fair feedback, and that's feedback that's come, again, directly from the community. As far as apps and integrations, for me personally, Minecraft just happens to be a tool in the tool belt. Like, we do a lot of video production at the school. I volunteer in my daughter's district all the time. And one of the things we do is we don't use Minecraft as much as the destination. We use it as video production. So the students are creating movies. They all want to be YouTubers, right? Because that's like the thing when they think of Minecraft. And so what they do is they go in, and it's a different kind of systems thinking, which I think is awesome. So they're thinking about script writing. They're thinking about timing this out. They're thinking about audio balance. They're thinking about, the fact that you have a quality microphone and I have this thing, and it's not going to be quite the same. All of that goes into that work. And so Minecraft becomes a part of a video production suite, not necessarily a game-based learning add-on into a traditional classroom. And so for us, I think we're going to use these next 6 to 12 months to rapidly add features that we already know the community is yelling about, which is great. And we'll also learn a whole heck of a lot from this new wave of folks that, as much as a lot of people that were using MinecraftEdu, loved having servers, loved having a certain way, loved having a certain installation. There's a whole bunch of people on the sidelines that are chomping at the bit now to get started. And it'll be great to hear those new voices as well, because I think it'll help inform us and beyond. But I think we're definitely open to integrations and applications. We're trying to be as open-ended as we can and not do, not play like kingmaker of, this is the partner for this type of discipline, but try to keep it as open as we can.
Yeah. Well, let's be realistic. Minecraft is something that generates community. And it's nice to hear that you're open to that feedback and you're implementing feedback from the community. So I've got a couple of ideas we'll talk about a little bit later. But at Q number 6, I think, is the last one that we're going to focus on. And we're going to tie it off like this. So Neal has already said that Minecraft is going to continue to evolve. So what were some of the features that you think out there in the community? And we're going to be very brief on this. We'll get everybody to say what was one of the most interesting ones, not necessarily what's one that they're thinking of implementing, but if you guys have any particular features out there that you're looking at watching this later, please put it in the comment section down below, and we will make sure that that is fed back to Neal and the team at Playcraft Learn as well. But for now, Mark, what were your thoughts on one of the most interesting features and priority features for you, or that you saw somebody bring
Well,
up?
my ears perked up when I heard command blocks. So that was exciting to hear. And I can't remember if it was Diane Main or Lynn Telfer. Maybe it was both of them. But they asked an interesting question about how does one stay in a world once the friend leaves and takes that world offline once they disconnect. So is there a way for kids to continue playing, maybe continue building at home as homework? So is there a way for a world to stay open without somebody perpetually being logged on? That was something that arose that I think could have a large impact, because I know one thing that is so empowering for my own students using Minecraft is that once they get started on a project, they are super excited about it. And 6 hours in a school day is simply not enough. They got to go home and they got to build for 2, 3, 5 more hours. So I think that would be very impactful, that, they start building in school, and then the kids are getting together at home and they're continuing that build, and they're coming back the next day and showing their teacher, look what we did, on our own time.
Cool. Neal, how about you? Did you see anything that kind of popped out to you that maybe was new on your radar that you hadn't thought of before?
Let's see. No, I think what Mark was saying is totally fair. Of what we hear a lot of, besides the typical, we want to do the things we've done before, right? We want to do coding, or we want to do more in-depth NPCs, or we want to do 3D printing, or there's a whole stack of things. I think it's the one that's the most appealing to us are definitely expanding the opportunity to use Minecraft in a variety of ways, and whether we define that very broadly as a team. So whether that's adding additional countries past the 50-year, I mean, obviously a lot of us are US based, or Canada based. I would say Buffalo is Niagara's best airport. But our one of our expansions is definitely geography, right? It's incredibly important to us that we have entire countries that can't purchase Education Edition right now. So that's important. Adding additional languages for us is important. And then the last one is adding additional, channels. And whether that means additional platforms for us moving forward outside of Win 10 or Mac, whether that means some concept of realms or servers or cloud hosting or whatever, I don't think we are ready to declare those prioritizations yet. But it's definitely the most important thing for us is, are there groups of students and teachers and schools and districts who aren't able to do what they want with the game at all right now? Because for me, my own personal opinion, this is not even just speaking for the team, this is just as an educator, is accessing the game is always going to trump some feature in the game. And yes. So when we think about where are we going to invest our time, for us it's so important that, to Mark's point, if I'm a teacher and I want my students to be able to play at home, because without that they can't have a good experience on Minecraft, that's more important than one feature adding into the game for everybody else to be able to play. And I think the other thing I would say to that makes it probably a little confusing, but it's good for folks to know, is one thing with MinecraftEdu that we don't necessarily worry as much about is we don't necessarily worry as much about being versions and versions behind. We deliberately delayed that for early access, and we caught up with .16 on our Pocket Edition and Windows 10 side. But our developers sit in the same development area as the folks that work on these other versions of the game. And so the joke for things like command blocks is, command blocks will come when it's in the regular versions of the game that we share, Pocket Edition and Windows 10 Edition beta. It's not necessarily an education feature. It's a feature that needs to be in the game in general. And then there's other ones that are reverse, like import and export of worlds was something that our team worked on first and made its way back into Pocket Edition. So I think what has us most excited internally and maybe isn't as visible to the community, and I hope we can figure out ways to make it more visible, is that all of these different versions of the game are incredibly important to the Minecraft franchise. And our team has been doing an amazing job, especially on our engineering and design and art side, of working together to try and find things that improve all the versions. So we have, teams that work on Oculus and VR sitting right next to teams that work on education, and that's been, for me, super cool to be a part of. But for me, it really, not to be too verbose and be an only child, but it really does come down to access of the game. I want to unlock additional countries, additional languages. I want to unlock additional features for students with special needs. I want to unlock the ability for students to play at home, at school, on a plane. All of those I think are fair game for our team to investigate, and then it just becomes a question of prioritization.
I don't think that anybody could state that is a respectful goal. I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. Personally, for me, and now I've got to go last. And how am I supposed to face up
How
to
do you
that?
follow that? Right?
How do you follow that? For me, though, I am very interested in, and I hope that this is my opportunity to really push the Minecraft benefits. Because there was a number of questions or a number of points about this as well. As I'm very interested in the possibility of converting from the Minecraft regular vanilla versions into the education edition. So for me, myself, I work with a team of hardcore builders, of hardcore Minecraft game developers who utilize the command blocks and everything like that and all the different mods. And we do some amazing educational stuff that would love to be able to just transition it. And then what I would like to do and really have a vision for is to activate the creative side of the Minecraft community, the ones who are creating all these brilliant and amazing maps and showcases and everything like that, and be able to have an easy way for them to really extrapolate those from the vanilla version into the education edition. I think that just has tremendous power for me. So that, for me, is probably what would be my most impactful feature, even above and beyond command blocks and everything like that. The tremendous visualization of those worlds is so powerful for kids, especially like you were saying, Neal, to be able to create videos on, to be able to showcase that and feel like a true professional YouTuber while doing it. Truly powerful. So I won't ask you to answer that or tell us if that's going to be coming or anything like that, but I do want to close off by saying this has been probably one of my favorite launches of anything, version, data, beta, whatever, of Minecraft. I think the potential that Microsoft is putting into the effort that Microsoft is putting into Minecraft and Education Edition is really going to just expand the world of learning for so many kids. And with the community feedback and with your openness to supporting the community of educators, I think that really speaks to the most important thing. So on behalf of myself and MinecraftEdu Chat, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
You are very welcome. I'm glad we could get to this day. It's been a long road to get here, and we're super excited. We were super excited to launch early. Every time we do one of these launches, oh my gosh, this is like we're finally opening chapter 1, and then we look back, we're like, holy cow, that was just like I told one of my coworkers last night. I'm like, this is just kind of still the prologue to see what's coming. So I think we're super excited. I just hope folks continue. If there are things they disagree with, or there are things they want that we don't have, that instead of keeping that to themselves and assuming we're not listening, share that. Share it as loudly as you can. Use all the channels at your disposal. We're not hiding. Our team is trying to be out in front and listen and partner as best we can, and we just hope we can earn folks' trust along the way. So super excited for where we go from here. Awesome.
Any final thoughts then, Neal?
Other than getting a better night's sleep tonight, I think it's a very cool, as a classroom teacher for so many years, it's a very cool product to be a part of. I happen to enjoy playing it, which is super fun. We play Minecraft, and then we go home and I play with my son and my daughter, and we learn about redstone, and they figure out how to farm. and do all kinds of things. So it's cool both as a parent and an educator to be involved with this. But no, I think to the community, everybody is a new player at some point. And so I think a lot of things, Mark and I actually talked about this in person a while back, is we see these big, amazing worlds and we see these super polished YouTube videos that people do. And teachers out there think I could never do that. And, it's kind of like looking at this concert pianist or an NBA basketball player and assuming that you could never walk up to a piano or you can never hold a basketball in your hand. And so, we always try to tell folks, don't confuse somebody else's, 5th year with your first hour. And so go to our site, go to the tutorial world. No one's going to be looking over your shoulder, crack open a laptop after dinner, dig yourself out of a hole, fall in another one, die a few times, pick yourself back up. It's Minecraft. That's the hardest thing for us as adults is there's no instruction book. It's like the Lego movie. And you just got to get over that fear. And I did it about a year and a half ago. I sat on the bus and died about 1,000 times in this darn game until I saw my first sunrise. And once I saw that first sunrise, I'm like, I'm in. Like there was no turning back at that point.
There's nothing more rewarding than that.
Oh gosh, yeah. Now I can just time set sunrise, and I'm like, oh, it's like 3 minutes.
Well, I was gonna joke when your lights turned on. I was gonna joke and say it was gonna get dark again in 12 minutes.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, no, I think in general, I just encourage folks to stay vocal and not to tune out and not to assume that they're being left behind. We are trying in public and private to listen to the views of the community and move this thing forward in the right way and the right kind of authentic, responsible way. And anybody that meets us in person or talks to anybody on my team should have that feeling, because that's why we're all in this. We all chose to be a part of the education team. And so I just encourage people to continue having that voice. It's been lovely to be a part of.
See, I like that. I like the way that you use the word authentic, because I think that is the absolute priority for sure. Mark, final thoughts?
Yeah, just to second what Neal said, get in the game and play, and if your first exposure to the game is Education Edition, I believe you get 25 free logins. So just use those logins wisely. Don't just log in and log out, really spend some time in the game, learn to play it, don't be afraid to die, and get in there, have fun with your kids.
Awesome. So my final thought is I have been addicted to Minecraft from a YouTube standpoint, from everywhere else for many, many years. And I'm so excited to see the future of Minecraft going into education. And not just, it has been for a number of years, but what's exciting me most is the support that Microsoft, a global company that is truly focusing on education, is bringing to the table. And for me, my theories are well-sounded and well-resounded. You guys all know them. I believe that game-based learning, true game-based learning, and serious games in education are the way of the future. And I think Minecraft and the support that it's going to bring into that environment is really going to get us over that cusp. So my final thought is thank you to Neal, the team at Microsoft, for bringing this amazing program to many, many more classrooms. But more importantly, thank you to all of you guys out there, the community that is supporting this, the people that I work with on a day-to-day basis talking about Minecraft and education. We generate passion off of each other, and I want to say thank you guys very much. So we're going to tie it off at that. We're going to end the broadcast here. We're going to say thank you guys very much for joining in.
As always, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry about that. Make sure that you guys do join us next week for another MinecraftEdu Chat, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitter using the hashtag MinecraftEdu. And this is a place that don't just come next week just for the Twitter chat. If you have questions, if you have issues with Minecraft, if you're thinking that you need help getting started, put your tweets out there using that hashtag. You will get a response, usually within about 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah. It's an amazing community.
It is.
And utilize the education.minecraft.net for any questions or concerns as well. It's a great community there as well.
And get your lesson plans up there, because I think that's what's going to be the transitioning feature for everybody feeling like they're being supported. If you can go there and you can say, oh my God, somebody's already done this, perfect, I can jump right in. Get in there, jump in. For now, MinecraftEdu After Chat is going to shut down. Thank you guys very much. Again, thank you, Neal, and we will catch everybody later.
Good night.